Mr. Ahmed, many congratulations for passing
Thank you.
PMP. It's a big
Thank you.
pleasure to have you from Canada. And I still remember that you were working while you were attending the training also. You
That
were
is
in two
correct.
sides.
Yes.
And the person you were referred by, he is also PMP certified now. And congratulations to both of you to become PMP certified. I will say thanks again. I will mention him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Mr.
of course.
Akif. And Mr.
Mr.
Akif
Akif,
was
yeah.
from Miss Safa. She started with the journey. Great. So everyone is very eager to hear you, not me. They keep hearing me by messages, they keep hearing me by everything,
Right,
but they want to hear your experiences that working in Canada, time differences, so much studies, so much things, how you
right,
manage from 0 to 100, how you reach it. Over to you. You explain it, I will keep quiet. And then if
right,
I
right.
need, I will take questions.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Go
for
ahead.
sure. So I think the first thing was that when we joined the course, the first challenge was the timings, right? Obviously, you were conducting these courses in Saudi Arabia, and the timing differences weren't that ideal for us because being in Canada, it was daytime over here, and I was working at that time. So I did try to manage that in between, but it was very difficult. And you might have noticed in during the classes that I would go offline for a bit and then come back again. So that's when I was probably like attending meetings and stuff. So anyhow, but the good thing, the really good thing that you do is you provide recordings of your lecture, right? So that helped me, or actually that put me at ease that later on at least I will be able to go through them, and go through the things that I missed, right? But I think the key portion here is that you need to be constantly involved or engaged in it till you actually give your exam, right? So the way I started was like, yeah, we had that 5-day course, everything went great, and we were all pumped up that you had a good sprint plan and everything, which is very good. If you follow to the dot, your life will become really easy, and you would be able to pass your PMP very very smoothly, right? But like everyone else, I got distracted, and I basically reduced my engagement level to PMP, right? And that's one thing that's people shouldn't do. Once you've started this, the important thing is like keep at it, because if you start over, like you're basically redoing that stuff again, right? It's very hard to retain all that stuff. I mean, as a profession, you might retain quite a bit of stuff, because if you're working in that domain specifically, right? But if you're studying, at least the academic portion, to retain that, it's very difficult. So that's one thing that I would highly recommend. Like, keep yourself engaged into it. If you're doing the course, right after the course, go for that sprint, and then book your PMP exam, just like Sir Imran is saying. So I would highly recommend that. So what happened with me though, right? I lost track of it. I got disengaged, and so just to let everyone know that I had enrolled and I had my application approved prior to joining the course. So in April, basically, I in April 2021, I got my application got approved, so I had 1 year to give the exam. Right in May, I did the course with Sir Imran, and then I was planning to in summer, like in July timeframe, I thought I would probably give the exam. Right, I got disengaged, and then now it's April 2022 that I'm giving the exam. So I wouldn't, like, do not do that mistake. Highly unrecommended. Like, keep yourself engaged as soon as you're done with the course, and go with the sprint. And now in terms of how you want to approach the exam, right? uh, at least from my point of view, right? Like, what I did was I really crashed my schedule. I had 1 month, like, I got an email from PMP saying that you have 30 days left to for your eligibility criteria, or to give your exam. So I was like, okay, now I have to do it. There's no turning back. I picked up the last day, 16th of April. That was my last day when I was eligible to give the exam, which is today, right? So I picked up that day. Luckily, I was able to get a time slot at the testing center near me, and I booked that. So now I knew that I had to do it, right? So I think that's another thing, right? Sorry, Imran, like you keep on saying that, book the exam. Once it's done, like, then you would basically work towards it, right? You have a goal and target. So that helps. So that helped me, but it only helped me for 1 week, and then I got distracted again because, like everyone else, basically life gets in the way, and you become busy, like, work, family, all that stuff happens, right? And then Ramadan, or like Ramadan started as well, so that was, that also, made things a little bit difficult. But really, the thing is, then basically the last 10 days, I would say, before the exam, I really pushed the pedal on this, right? I took some time off from work, and basically went through the entire course. If you want to ask, like, how I started off with my restarted basically the learning process, I would say I started off with your lectures again. Instead of, the lecture that we took in May 2021. If you remember, so around, like, I asked you for your latest lecture, right? So thank you for that. I went through that 5 day, 4 day, 5 day course again on YouTube. A high speed, 1.5 speed. And I went through the entire lecture again, and that helped me again, to bring to get the base going again, because you've already, if you've done the course, right, you already know the basics. It's just about revising that stuff. So things start coming back to you again, right? So you're now back at that stage. So after that 5 day course, I did that again. Like, I took like 5 days to do that, and then I started off, and then that's another thing. Like, I slacked off again for another week, but basically, then there were only 10 days left for me to prepare for the exam. So after that, I basically picked up the short videos that you have on your YouTube channel, regarding, where it says, there's a revision for the entire course in like 1 hour, and then there are question answer sessions. So I was doing the question answer sessions as well with you, on those videos that you've uploaded, and then there were some questions for people's domain questions, and then process domain questions. So I did those videos as well. And then after that, I started off basically with your Udemy test questions, right? The Udemy tests. I did the first test, scored miserably. Basically, I had 63%, which was an eye opener, saying, like, I had to work really hard, because I think in the test you say that 85% is your it's your passing marks. I was like, okay, how am I going to do this, right? With 10 days, with like less than 10 days left now. So then, anyhow, that's not how you should basically, I would say, like, if even if you're like scoring close to, if you get close to 70%, you're good, because I did the second test, I only improved by 64% to 64%. And then the third test that I did was, I scored 79%. So still I wasn't passing, right? So don't, let that put you down. If you're not able to pass, don't let that put you down, because in the exam you would probably find a little simpler questions, a little maybe not, I wouldn't say simpler, but the setting of those questions is in such a way that you are able to find the answer, right? So I would say that, that helps you at least, start to understand that how the whole, project management process works, right? So I was just telling Sir Imran about this sheet, regarding, this process sheet,
All the
right?
processes and knowledge areas.
So before these courses, before this, like, even after doing this course, right, this sheet, I would get overwhelmed by it. I was like, what the heck is this? Do I need to remember all these processes, right? But once you go through the questions, you start realizing, like, what the type of questions are. And then after that, I started looking at this sheet with a different lens, right? I would just look at this sheet and I would understand, like, and then I did the few open book tests as well. And then while solving those questions, right, like, for example, like, you know uh, there's a validated scope part, and then there's a quality control part. So what would the project manager do next, right? So just looking at this sheet, I would understand, like, what should be the right next process, right? So that helped me, at least looking at this sheet from a different lens, and started making, more sense out of this sheet. So yeah, I mean, like, I would say that, go through the question answer, like the practice tests. The practice test 1, 2, 3, they're great. Practice test 4, 5, 6, they're more based on, I would say, the traditional ones, right? So, but I think it's important to go through them as well, just so that you have a good understanding of the traditional approach as well, because traditional approach, as you said, is not going away. And if you ask
50%
my
is still the same for from the processes.
exactly, yeah. And if you ask me, right, I mean, I know like a lot of people, they say that a lot of the exam is now agile, which is true. But for me, like I would say only 50 to 60% was agile and 40 to 50% was still traditional.
Great.
So yeah, but yeah, like I mean, there are things that so this is very very important. Yeah, so that's pretty much it from my end. I mean, uh, and yeah, so basically at the end, though, even though I slacked off quite a bit, the last 1 week I was like studying like almost 6 to 8 hours a day. So all the practice tests that I was basically doing a practice test every day, and I had in mind that I would do at least 2 practice tests a day, but it was very difficult. And because one thing that I did was when I would do a practice test, I would spend almost the same amount of time reviewing the questions as well. So I wouldn't just review the question that I did wrong. I would review even the question that I did right, so that I understand what's going on, right? So that's one thing I would highly recommend, that do the test, but also review your questions very thoroughly.
Great. Now, thanks very much for the very comprehensive reply. Now I will ask the question, not mine questions, the students'
Uh-huh.
questions, just to keep them directed to compile it at how. Because after listening the whole story, everyone will ask the same question. How much time you honestly studied or dedicatedly studied? I think you said 1 week, right?
I think, yeah, 1 week I did like full dedicated study, 6 to 8 hours a day.
How many books you studied?
Zero. No
Zero.
books.
Only
No
slides,
books.
right?
Only slides.
Uh, how many practice tests you solved? All six of them on Udemy or just few of them?
So I practiced 6 on Udemy, and then I got another test. So maybe like I would say 2 more tests. But then I found this website as well, which has this PMP practice exam, which is a free thing. They have questions as per the 2021 new
Guidelines, yeah.
guideline. So I did those as well. Those
Great.
were basically 200 questions, right?
Yes.
So those were really helpful as well.
Great. Next question is, did you trust my words? Whatever I was saying, those were proven right or not?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely, right. I mean, like the other thing I did was actually like I would go back to your videos as well, right? Remember, like especially the one where you're doing the whole revision
Revision.
in like 1 hour, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Basically, it's project integration management, right? But it's like it covers all the processes, right? So that
Yes.
that is very helpful. So I did that piece. I actually looked at that video maybe 2 or 3 times at least.
Yeah. So it gives you the whole grasp of knowledge from zero to
Yes,
100. Great.
yes.
Perfect. So when you were sitting an exam, how you managed yourself to answer? Did you have breaks also? The 10 minutes break?
Yeah. So I took the break. So basically, after every 60 questions, I would have that 10-minute break, and I took the break. Even though it's Ramadan, like, but no chance of drinking water or anything. But I was like more like just to relax the mind, because time management is really important. I think one thing that I learned through the exam was one thing that I was finding was I wasn't having an issue in basically timing myself during the practice test at least, right? But I had really like prepared myself that I had set my milestones that in if it is 60 questions, because I didn't really know exactly that after 60 question I would actually be asked to like take a break and then I can go back to the 60. I didn't know that, right? But I was basically setting up milestones that if I'm at 50 questions, what should be my time remaining? If I'm at 60 questions, if I'm at 100 questions, what should be my time remaining, right? So those kinds of things. So time management is really important. I wasn't having issues during the practice test, but during the exam, I did have an issue. So I would say, but I think I still did pretty well, because the first 60 questions I took almost 80 minutes, and then I knew exactly that I had 75 minutes for each of my other 60 questions, 75 minutes for the next 60 and 75 minutes for the other 60, right? So it wasn't that bad, because I was thinking that I can still spend like 1.25 minutes per question, right? And then the second session that I did, again, I took exactly 75 minutes, right? And then the last one, exactly 75 minutes. But what happened was by the last one, my brain was so tired. I was going well, but I think till 30 or 40, when 30, 40 questions were remaining, I was like minute to minute now. I had 30 minutes and I had 30 questions to solve. And then I was at 10, I think I was at 12 or 13 questions and I had 10 minutes left. So I was like, what the heck did I do wrong, right? But it's just because that at the end you're sort of tired. So try to keep the pace, from the get-go.
Yes.
Initially when your brain is fresh, if you can do things faster, do it faster, I would say. But for me, like, I mean, I think for me it's more like I perform better under pressure. So at the end I was like, oh, when I saw that my questions are more and my minutes are less, I was like, okay, I need to do this really fast. And then yeah, luckily, alhamdulillah, I did that. Like I had like half a minute left when I did my last question.
Great. So I think what
Yeah.
I advise actually to the students that look, if you cannot do the first hour fast, you will become used to, right, how the questions
Yeah.
are coming, and you will be familiarized with the exam environment and pressures. So better do the second half
Mm-hmm.
with more acceleration than the first one.
Yep.
So if you could not outperform in first one, at least do in the second one, because
Right.
third one, when the time is running short, your brain will start diffusing. That's it. It will be
Yeah.
flattening up after
Yeah.
a while. I think in the last 15, 20 minutes, you will have zero. You will just like next, 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 next.
Yeah.
Something like this. It happens with majority of the students. So
Yeah.
second half is more crucial for everyone. If they outperform there, the rest of the journey will be easier.
Exactly.
Great. So do you recommend anyone to attend my training?
Of course. Of course.
Uh, did you get upset of my regular messages?
That helped, honestly speaking, that's the reason that I'm here. Because whenever you'll be like, you'll be constantly like, checking up on your students. And that actually puts up a little bit of a guilt feeling as well, that my teacher, he's trying so hard to make me successful, and look at what I'm doing, right? So I think that helped me, at least from my end, to get back on track. And I'm alhamdulillah, I'm very happy now.
And how was the elimination thing? Like I told you, eliminate two answers, then you will have two answers remaining. Did it work?
That's exactly how I did. Actually, a lot of, especially, the last 10 questions that I'm talking about, where I had to like really rush things through. I wasn't really looking at the whole question. I was just reading the last part, that
Last
what
part.
is required. Because most of the questions were like, okay, this is the situation. You're the project manager. What would the project manager do next? Right. And then the difference now in the exam is that you can see some options that are ridiculous, right? that
Exactly.
make that
Easily.
make no sense, right? So I
Yes.
would quickly strike them off and then just focus on the last two or something, right? And then I would see, like, do I need to, like, and sometimes you don't even need to focus on the last two. Basically you can strike off three of them and then select one, right? That's
Yes.
exactly what it is, at least in the last 10 questions. In the first ones, I was like trying to read everything, just making sure I'm not missing a word here and there, because sometimes they get tricky, right? But yeah, that helped me quite a bit, because method of elimination, that's how you want to do it. And that's one thing different from the practice exams, in comparison to the real exam, is that elimination actually works better in the real exam, because I think they purposefully put some options that are so ridiculous,
Exactly.
right?
It's not matching at all. So
It's
like
not
we
matching at all. Yeah.
discussed in the class that a part of the keywords for each process, in each chapter or something, we discussed ignore can never be the right answer. Push will never be the right answer.
Escalate.
Direct action will never be the right answer.
Yeah.
The first thing you have to do, analyze and so on. So
Exactly.
these type of things will easily let you eliminate the wrong choices.
True.
Great. And at the end, you are here, PMP certified is smiling, right? So what's
Alhamdulillah.
next?
Yeah.
Anyone next, or you will take rest?
I think I'll take a bit of a rest, but yeah, I'll try to keep myself active in this and see what should be next.
Look, the same technique I told you from my side that I do, like at least in the night or whenever you are free, watch a video of 10-15 minutes related to your subject.
Mm-hmm.
It will keep you like motivated throughout.
That's true.
You will not like giving up and you forget everything. For sure, many things don't work in our real life, but at least it gives us the edge over other people, that you have a different perception of thinking than those people who are far away from the standard frameworks. which
True.
a unique world habit, and that's make you different from each and everyone. Well,
Absolutely.
at the you are the lucky one. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed, for
No,
such
thank
a
you.
nice conversation. I am really
Yeah.
glad. Look, you can see the face reaction on mine also. Like I told you, I work for the people's success, not for the money. So yeah, it's a great feeling that once your people are becoming certified, and you are, I think, among those 500 now, which I am reaching in soon, inshallah. So
My
great. Thank you
goodness.
very much for your time, and
Absolutely,
I'll
no
be
problem.
waiting for you to disturb you again and again. Don't mute me.
No,
Inshallah,
for
I'll
sure.
see.
Of course. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Mr.
Thank
Ahmed.
you.
Have a
All
very
right.
good one. Assalamu
You
alaikum.
too. Walaikum salam.